And welcome back to Nzone Focus. Andy Bray is the author of a new book called Treasures in the Darkness, and he's here with his wife Nikki. Let's move on to 2 years ago, to the Mangetepopo Gorge disaster. It's quite hard to read because it's every parent's worst nightmare. I mean, it must have been terrible to write.
Well, the book was written when the tragedy happened, and so it was already at the press. We had to stop the book from being printed because we realised that if that book went to press, it wasn't complete. And people would pick that book up and think, hang on, where's the rest of the story? And so it took us a while to actually find the time, find the energy to actually then pen that last chapter that included Natasha's death and tragedy, and the story around that. So yes, it was stalled for about a year until we did that.
Like I said, it's every parent's worst nightmare. I guess you'll never forget that. I mean, you describe all being in the room waiting for the news to come through, and then the policeman arrives. I mean, how do you come to terms with that?
It's completely surreal. You kind of step outside of what's really going on somehow, and you feel like you're looking in on the situation. It's hard to describe because you just can't believe that it's your life, your body. These are the things that happen to other people, and it was just the worst possible thing to imagine, wasn't it? And to know how I don't know how we got through that, but we did somehow through the strength that God gave us and through one another, the support of our friends.
I remember that night just sitting at the dining room table, and lots of people were there, and the policeman came in, and you knew, as soon as you saw a policeman, you know. But I remember my first thought being, Lord, how on earth can you ask us to walk this walk? You know, we've had it hard with Andy's health, with so many issues that have been since we got married, and we always thought that we would face Andy's death, you know, before any of us, and we talked about that as a family quite a lot, but never our oldest daughter. You know, she was a bright star going on for the Lord, just a future ahead of her, and I just couldn't believe it. And I remember silently in my heart shaking my fist thinking, Lord, how can you ask us to walk this road?
Did you have an answer?
At the time, well, I'd had an answer actually earlier when she was missing, and we actually didn't know that she was one of them at the time, but I remember having a conversation with God in the quietness of my heart when I was driving that night, and I sensed him saying to me, she is safe, she's with me. And he said that to me twice, and I knew in my heart that she was one that was missing, and actually that she'd already died. So it was more, no, he didn't kind of give me an answer there and then as to why I needed to walk this road, but it was just, I'm there, and I was there, and I will be there, and that's, I think, all I heard that night. That was the sense of God just being there with us.
One of the remarkable things that happened, though, and as a news team we covered it too, and it was hard for us as a news team because we knew some of the people involved, we knew you, and yet I think it was that the next morning you fronted up to the press, you fronted up to the media. How did you do that?
It was just a massive tragedy, and so we were just hanging on to the faith of God, and that he had a bigger picture, that he knows what's going on, and that's still the case no matter what's happened. But I was talking from a perspective then about how proud I was of her, and I was just sharing with the nation my privilege of being part of that kid's life for 16 years when she just loved God with all her heart. And I just wanted the nation to know just how great these kids were. Because grief is a very selfish thing. You know, you go to a very selfish place and you feel sorry for yourself, and there's a lot of inward looking going on while you're grieving. And but at that moment, I was speaking to a nation, about 7 families altogether. And I wanted to represent those children, I guess. That's what I wanted to do, is to make sure they got a picture of the loss, not only for us, but for a whole nation, of kids who were leaders of tomorrow, and what a tragedy that is for New Zealand.
Do you think, as a family, you'll ever get over something like that?
Yeah. We're determined to get over it. We're a strong family. We're determined to be strong. God doesn't want us to mope around. If we really believe that, you know, we're going to run into Tash again one day, then we believe that with all our heart. And I don't think there's any value in living less than a full life. I mean, I think it's a daily choice. It's a choice in being married happily. I think life is a daily choice to rise above your circumstances and to glorify God with the best of your ability. And I'm living this life. I don't want to live morbidly. I want to live a full life. So I think we've made an active choice to get over this.
Well, can I just say,
Yeah.
I don't think the word get over is
it's
because it sounds like there's a big obstacle being put in your path and you walk up to it and you climb over it and then you carry on your road.
That's a good point.
It's not like that at all. I think we've had this huge tragedy come into our life, and what God asks us to do with it is to absorb this into our life and let what we've experienced and what we've lost, but also what we've gained, become part of who we are as people and as a family, and make us better people as a result of it. Because we both said the pain is so hard, so intense, that you just don't want to lose that. You don't want to. Yeah, it's hard to explain, but you want that pain to be used for good. It's about taking this tragedy and absorbing it into our family, into who we are as people, and allowing it to make us better people. And we've said this all along, that we want it to be better and stronger, not bitter people. And that's a choice that we probably daily make. I've done a lot of reading, and I think one of the things that greatly encouraged me was I always thought when we lost Tash, with so much sorrow in my soul, I thought, I don't know if I can ever laugh again and if I will ever experience true joy again. But we're learning that joy and sorrow can coexist in the human heart at the same time. And Jesus was a man of sorrows, but he was also a man of joy, so.
But, I mean, your life hasn't been easy. I mean, heaven knows that's as bad as it gets. But with Andy's illness, I mean, what's the current state of play? Because you're on dialysis now, aren't you?
Yeah, I go on dialysis every second day, 4 hours, 5 hours. And it does get tiring. It's the everyday of it, I think. It's not being able to travel for longer than 2 days away without having to find a machine to go on, or it's just the regular dialysis of it and not knowing what the future lies. That's what probably is the most tiring of it all. And it's all fine when things are going well, but you've only got to have something go wrong with the machine or with my arm where I put the needles in, and everything kind of turns to custard. So, yeah, we live until the next moment when something goes haywire. But in the meantime, I think I'm determined to enjoy my life. So I don't want to live with less. I don't want to live without. I don't want to live relying on others. I want to be as strong as I can. And I don't want to be a burden on anybody, I think, least of all Nikki. And I think having Natasha die on us like that has made me want to be stronger, mainly for the family, because I think they need me more now than ever. With Natasha around, she was quite a strong kingpin in our little mechanism, and I think while she was still around, such a strong individual, I was a little more relaxed about Nikki and me maybe passing on, but now I think there's more of a determination to stay as strong as I can for her and the kids, at this age. And so I'm actually thankful for a very vibrant job that keeps me challenged, makes me get up in the morning and drives me really to keep well, to go to the gym, keep myself fit.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for sharing with us and for writing this incredible book. Thank you both.
You're welcome, Allan.
And that's all we've time for this week. Thanks to our guests, Andy and Nikki Bray. And their book, Treasures in the Darkness, is published by Family Life and costs $19.95. You can get more information on their website, www.familylife.org.nz. And don't forget, we'd like to hear your thoughts on our programme. You can email us at yourviews@rbg.co.nz. That's yourviews@rbg.co.nz. And the writer of the letter that makes us think the most could get a copy of this beautiful study Bible courtesy of the Church of Christ bookshop. Join us again next week. Bye for now.